Juan Ponce de León was a Spanish explorer and adventurer, best known for his quest for the legendary Fountain of Youth, a spring that was believed to grant eternal youth to anyone who drank its waters. His journey took him through the Caribbeans, shaping his legacy as a pioneer of exploration in the New World. But who was he, and what drove him to search for such a mythical place? Juan was born in 1460 in a small town in the region of Castile, Spain. Little is known about his early childhood, but he was born into a noble yet modest family. Growing up in a time of great change, he witnessed Spain's expansion through exploration and conquest. This spirit of adventure that characterized the era would shape Ponce de Leon's ambitions. As a young man, he joined the Spanish military, serving as a soldier during Spain's war against the Moors in Granada. His military training provided him with skills in combat and leadership, skills that would later serve him well in the New World. When Christopher Columbus returned from his first voyage to the America, Spain became captivated by the promise of new lands and riches. León was no exception. The stories of new territories across the Atlantic stirred his imagination, and he saw an opportunity to make a name for himself. In 1493, León joined Christopher Columbus on his second voyage to the New World. This journey marked León's first encounter with the Americans. While Columbus focused on the islands of the Caribbean, León kept his eyes on the possibilities that lay ahead. He saw opportunities for both personal wealth and expanding Spain's influence in this new and mysterious land. After Columbus's voyage, León decided to stay in the Caribbean, making a life for himself in Hispaniola, modern-day Dominican Republic and Haiti. He gained a reputation of being a strong and capable leader. In Hispaniola, he was appointed to several important roles, including that of a provincial governor. But his ambitions went beyond administrative duties. He wanted to explore and conquer new territories. In 1508, León set his sights on Puerto Rico, an island rich in gold and natural resources. He led an expedition that successfully subdued the island and established Spanish settlements there. For his efforts, the Spanish crown appointed him the first governor of Puerto Rico in 1509. During his time as governor, he founded the first settlement at Capara, near present-day San Juan. He brought European farming techniques to the island, developing its agriculture and mining industries. However, León's rule was marked by conflicts with the indigenous Taino people. Back then, the Spanish sought to convert the Taino to Christianity and force them into labor, leading to resistance and clashes. These confrontations were brutal, and many Taino people suffered under Spanish rule. Despite these challenges, León prospered in Puerto Rico, accumulating wealth through the island's resources. But his political fortunes began to shift when he faced competition from Diego Columbus, the son of Christopher Columbus, who claimed rights to govern the island. León lost his governorship to Diego, but he still held a commission from the Spanish crown to explore new lands to the north. It was during this period that León became captivated by tales of the Fountain of Youth. According to legend, this magical spring existed somewhere beyond the islands of the Caribbean, offering the promise of eternal youth and vitality. While it's uncertain whether León genuinely believed in the Fountain of Youth or if he used it as a way to justify further exploration, the story became an integral part of his legacy. In 1513, León led an expedition northward from Puerto Rico in search of new lands, and possibly the elusive fountain. On April 2nd, 1513, he and his crew made landfall on the east coast of what is now Florida. Believing he had found a large island, he named it La Florida, meaning land of flowers, because of its lush vegetation and his arrival during the Easter season. León explored the eastern coast of Florida and sailed southward along the peninsula, mapping the area and interacting with the native people. These interactions were often tense and sometimes violent. The indigenous tribes, such as the Calusa, viewed the Spaniards as intruders. Despite the dangers, León pressed on, hoping to find the legendary spring or, at the very least, claim new territory for Spain. After his initial voyage, León returned to Puerto Rico, but his desire to settle and explore Florida remained strong. He made plans for a new expedition, hoping to establish a Spanish colony there. In 1521, he set out again, bringing with him settlers, supplies, and livestock with the intention of finding a permanent settlement on the Florida coast. However, this second voyage proved to be more difficult than he anticipated. Upon arriving in Florida, Leon and his party encountered fierce resistance from the indigenous tribes, particularly the Calusa, who were determined to protect their homeland from the Spanish invaders. In a skirmish with the Calusa warriors, Leon was struck by an arrow in his thigh. The wound was serious, and his condition worsened quickly. His men decided to abandon the colonization attempt and fled back to Cuba, hoping to find medical help for their leader. Despite their efforts, Leon's injury became infected, and his health deteriorated. He died in July 1521 in Havana, Cuba, from complications related to the wound. Though Leon never found the Fountain of Youth, his explorations left a lasting impact on the history of the Americans. He was the first European to document and name Florida, laying the groundwork for future Spanish exploration and colonization of the southeastern United States. The stories of his quest for the Fountain of Youth have become a part of the lore surrounding early exploration, symbolizing the human desire for discovery and the hope for eternal life. After his death, his remains were eventually returned to Puerto Rico, where they were buried in San Juan Cathedral, a city he helped establish. Even though he did not achieve all he sought, his name lives on in history and also continues to be remembered in the many places named after him. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, share, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel to catch up on a lot more of our contents.